Today we are taking a close look at the upcoming Learn Tourism Conference. We've got the whole speaker lineup, the curriculum, yeah, the full stack.
Exactly. And we're going to break down what kind of, high value, actionable knowledge you'll actually get from attending. So if you're maybe an industry leader, a DMO executive, or even a sponsor wondering about the quality here, our mission today is to really map out the strategic value. We want to look past the brochure, find the real core takeaways.
And while looking through this material, it's clear this isn't just theory. It's a really potent mix, I think. You've got seasoned industry veterans alongside people working on the absolute cutting edge. The content covers everything from like 20 years of digital history, understanding the why behind things, all the way up to AI applications and strategy, and interestingly, accessibility.
And leading that charge, kicking things off, is the keynote speaker, Sarah Benoit. She's also the lead instructor and producer of the conference. Her bio highlights over 20 years in digital strategy, but also a very practical teaching style. It actually says she makes audiences lean in, laugh, and leaves them with a realistic to-do list, no fluff.
I like that no fluff part. I think it's really the key thing that's setting the tone here.
Yeah, Sarah sets this expectation that you won't just feel inspired, you leave with concrete steps for Monday morning. Her value isn't just her impressive background, like being the 2017 Woman Executive of the Year.
Right.
It's about translating strategy into actual results that focus on implementation. That seems to be the thread running through the whole conference.
Okay, that's a perfect transition then. Let's unpack the first big strategic area, proving value and future-proofing budgets.
Yeah, and what really jumps out here is the intense focus on measurable impact for anyone leading a DMO or for sponsors. This whole block of sessions seems designed to help you defend that marketing spend. And let's face it, budgets are under more scrutiny than ever.
Definitely. So, starting right at the cutting edge, we have Cassandra Radzi from Orange 142. She's talking about something beyond traditional SEO, generative engine optimization, or GEO. She calls it a new era of visibility.
Geo and the insight there is that it forces a fundamental shift in content strategy. It's not just about pleasing Google's trawlers anymore, okay? It's about writing content that AI, like large language models, can accurately synthesize and summarize. That shift changes, well, everything about how you approach content and your budget for it. Cassandra's session apparently explains how to make that pivot.
But is GEO is it fully baked yet? Isn't most traffic still coming from traditional SEO? The measurable stuff? It seems like there's a tension there for marketing directors.
That's a great point. And that tension is exactly why the next section is so relevant. If you connect the dots, you see data experts giving strategies to defend those existing budgets while you also explore the future. Laura Speicher from Tourism Economics tackles that directly. Her session is Protecting Your Budget, Maximizing Marketing Impact in a Scrutinized DMO Landscape. She's the expert in attribution using location data. It's about using data defensively, showing the tangible impact of every dollar, giving you the proof you need when leadership questions spending.
Essential stuff. But data shouldn't just be defense, right? It needs to drive change, transform the destination. How does the conference cover translating metrics into, let's say, policy?
That's where Donald Lilley from Visit Baltimore comes in. His talk is leveraging visitation metrics to transform your destination. He's got, 18 years in this?
Yeah, that's a long time.
And he focuses on using advanced analytics, going beyond just room nights to actually shape city decisions and the visitor experience. He's the guy who knows how to turn complex data into something the board or politicians can understand and act on.
So we're moving from budget defense with data to high-level strategy with data. How does that trickle down and help the local partners, the restaurants, attractions on the ground?
And that's the next piece. Matthew Robinette from Richmond Region Tourism talks about exactly that practical application. His session is Empowering Partners, Elevating Destinations, the Value of a DMO Partner Toolkit.
Okay, sounds good.
He shows how that high-level data strategy gets translated into a useful tool for local businesses. It improves their engagement, enhances the visitor journey, and makes partners feel like the DMO is really working for them. Utility from the top floor down to the street level.
Okay, so data defends, the budget drive strategy engages partners, but what about the experience itself creating loyalty? The conference seems to pivot nicely here into service and structure.
Yeah, it's a really smart shift because clicks and code are only part of it. This gets into organizational strategy. The human side, service isn't just a cost, it's an investment. Stephanie Leese Emrich from Service Speak Solutions presents the ESP of service.
Her ESP model, experiential, subjective, personal, is a catchy name, but what's the core idea there for attendees?
The model is essentially a framework to shift thinking about customer service, move it from just handling transactions to building loyalty. That word subjective is key.
How so?
It teaches teams to recognize that every visitor arrives with different needs, a different emotional state. You move beyond script to deliver service that feels unique. She breaks down how subjective service looks different for someone having a fantastic day versus a traveler stressed about lost luggage. It's empathy as a revenue driver.
And delivering that kind of service consistently. That depends heavily on how you're structured internally, right?
Exactly. Which leads to Tom from Richmond Region Tourism. He's discussing building an internal marketing agency culture. Now, his background is, well, it's not typical destination management.
Yeah, I saw that. 30 years across 6 industries.
Yeah. Including space, flight, and utilities.
Spaceflight and utilities. What does that background bring to a destination management or marketing discussion?
Scale and discipline. I think his insight seems to be about running marketing like a critical utility. Consistent, accountable, essential, not like a discretionary budget item that gets cut first.
Okay, interesting angle.
He teaches DMOs how to structure teams for efficiency, treat internal departments like clients, and really elevate marketing from just support to a strategic driver. That kind of discipline could be game-changing for some organizations.
And speaking of building strong organizations, we also have Renee Areng from HMA Hospitality Consultants talking about selling the invisible, the secret science of place marketing. Her experience is super relevant. She built Explore Brookhaven, Georgia, basically from the ground up between 2018 and 2025.
Building a DMO from scratch.
Yeah,
What does that involve and why is it useful knowledge even for established DMOs?
it's all about achieving institutional maturity. She handled everything. The brand strategy work that led to their Belong Here tagline, achieving gold status benchmark, and getting destination management accreditation. That's the destination's international accreditation. Pretty rigorous and a big accomplishment.
It certifies that a DMO meets really high standards for excellence and accountability. Renee's session is basically a masterclass, not just in marketing, but in building a credible, high-performing institution around the destination brand.
And that kind of institutional investment has to connect to the local workforce, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Which brings us to Mia Blom from Visit Baltimore and her panel, The ROI of Charm.
The ROI of charm. I like that.
It's a fantastic case study in showing measurable economic impact from workforce development. She details how they developed and launched Baltimore's Tourism Academy and the Charm City Certified course.
Okay, and what's the key takeaway for, say, community impact?
The clincher is that this Charm City Certified course became the official training tool for the Baltimore Workforce Development Board's Hospitality Sector Partnership.
Wow. Okay. So, making it the official training tool, how does that practically improve hospitality? Is it something you can actually measure?
Absolutely. Formalizing it like that elevates the whole industry. It shifts perception from just temporary jobs to a respected career path with standards.
Right.
It standardizes service expectations across the city, which leads directly to things you can measure like higher guest satisfaction and lower employee turnover. It's service standards, translating directly into economic stability and, frankly, local pride.
That connects everything nicely. Which brings us to maybe the biggest questions. How do we fund all this innovation, and how do we make sure the future we're building is equitable and accessible?
Exactly. That's the critical piece, right? How do you pay for these great programs we just talked about and ensure the benefits reach everyone? The conference tackles funding stability and the essential topic of access head on.
Starting with funding, which is, the fuel for everything, we've got John Lambeth, the CEO and founder of Civitas. He's apparently the national expert on creating tourism districts. His talk is securing the competitive edge, finding funding stability.
Yeah. John Lambeth is definitely the authority here. He's literally drafted statewide legislation on this stuff, advocated globally for unique funding models.
Wow, that's so important for the bigger picture of tourism.
If your DMO relies heavily on, let's say, volatile hotel taxes,
Which many do.
his session on creating tourism improvement districts, or TIDs, is probably essential listening. It's the political and financial know-how needed to set up dedicated, stable funding streams that can actually support long-term plans.
Okay, so secure the funding. Then shifting to inclusivity, which isn't just ethical, it's smart market expansion. We have Tarryn Tomlinson from Livable. She's talking about using new tech for access. DIY accessibility, leveraging AI to open your property to everyone.
And what's really interesting here is Taryn's global perspective. She's a certified access professional, works on policy in South Africa. Why is a South African perspective on AI and access relevant for, say, a US audience?
That's a good question. I think it's because places like South Africa often have to leapfrog technologies due to infrastructure limits. They've become pioneers in mobile-first affordable solutions.
Oh, so Taryn is showing how to potentially bypass older, maybe more expensive compliance methods using readily available, affordable AI tools to achieve a high degree of accessibility. It's about making access practical and scalable regardless of budget.
The commitment to diversity needs to show up in marketing too, right?
Definitely, and Wirt Confroy from Virginia Tourism is covering that, focusing on maximizing potential through VT's diversity efforts, including their well-known Virginia is for Lovers, LGBTQ+ partnerships. It's framed as strategic market segmentation, driving real returns while being inclusive.
And tying it back to the human side, the purpose of travel, there's Aisha Johnson Adams with 10 tips to get the most out of your influencer partnership.
That sounds like a super useful session.
Her approach seems rooted in travel as a path to understanding empathy and connection. She references things like the Black Wall Street AVL's GATE program, so it's about using influencers with purpose, aligning with community values, not just chasing follower counts.
Yeah, building relationships, not just transactions.
Okay, so let's synthesize all this. What does this packed curriculum really mean for you, the potential attendee or a sponsoring organization?
Well, it looks like a really carefully curated program. It connects the big picture, high-level strategy, things like GEO and complex funding mechanisms directly, with practical roll-up-your-sleeves implementation, how to build that internal agency, how to craft effective influencer plans and tactics.
Exactly. And that dedication to continuous improvement, the intellectual rigor behind it, seems embodied by the Learn Tourism CEO and co-founder Stephen Ekstrom. He's described as a proud nerd.
Huh? Okay, I like that. Own it.
But seriously, he holds certifications from places like Harvard Business School and Sustainable Business Strategy and Brown in AI Governance and Ethics.
That kind of leadership suggests a real commitment to top-tier educational quality, blending operational know-how with future-focused thinking.
So, if you're looking for an investment that gives you both that strategic vision for, say, 2026 and beyond, and tools you can use right away in next quarter, this conference seems designed to deliver that, considering this depth of experience they're bringing together, from digital pioneers with 20 years under their belt to the leading experts on creating permanent funding districts. What's the one foundational change you could start working on in your organization now that would really maximize the value you'd get from attending this conference?
That's a great question to ponder. Everyone who goes to Richmond should think about aligning their internal readiness for this level of insight.
Food for thought. Just a reminder, the Learn Tourism Conference is happening March 9th and 10th, 2026, down in Richmond, Virginia. Registration is open now at learntourismconference.com. Hopefully, we'll see some of you there ready to level up. Thanks so much for listening.